Welcome to the Prophecy Club. I got a very interesting topic for you today. High-tech, high-speed, nuclear-powered, and in some cases off-world technology-powered tunneling machines, and actually the things that flow through the tunnels. First of all, we are asking everyone to join the Prophecy Club. And just $9.90 a month or more in an automatic payment would really help us. As a matter of fact, right now, I have to be honest with you, this thing with Berkey has thrown us into a jam. Yes, we're still waiting on the Berkeys to arrive, but in the meantime, just about all of our money is tied up in Berkey water filters, and they keep having delays in getting them to us, and frankly, we're in a jam. Matter of fact, if something doesn't happen in the next 24 hours, I could start having checks bounce. So if God has blessed you and you can help Prophecy Club, now would be a really good time. Okay, so we're not talking about tunneling machines like this. Okay, those are what man builds. What we're talking about is something more. In about 1998, I went to Kansas City because a local secular radio station had been having this guy on, and he was talking about how he was actually the inventor and held the patents to a high-speed tunneling machine. And he had actually pictures of it and schematics and drawings, and he had all the proof to prove he was telling the truth, and he, in fact, was the patent holder for it. And it looked something like this. Oh, how I wish I had pictures of those or copies of those documents now. But that was back in 1998. But I can tell you it looks something like this. It looks something like a bullet. And he explained that it has a laser that comes out the front of it. And as it moves through the ground, whether it's rock or ground or whatever it is, it hits it and it instantly turns it to ash. And then before that ash even settles down, it moves on through that just cloud of ash, and it has a super hot tip that is powered by atomic power, and it's really hot, and it melts that ash into kind of like it makes a concrete, vein, I guess you'd say, or an artery, and it moves. And he said it moved at about 5 miles an hour, and they could tunnel any place they wanted to. As I recall, he said it was about 10 feet across, as I recall. Again, I wish I'd had notes or something, more information on it now. But anyway, so I have to start with a disclaimer today, because if I really knew all of this was true, my life would probably be in danger. So to get my life out of danger and to put things in proper order, I'm going to say I've never been in an underground tunnel, nor seen any technology like this. I've never seen anything. I've never seen a UFO, not even the sky. I've done over 30 years of radio, TV, and Bible prophecy. I've heard many stories which confirm each other. But based upon those many confirming stories, I personally believe that evil beings from Lucifer and the fallen ones and variations do exist. But of course, I can't prove that. Matter of fact, you can't prove Lucifer exists outside of the Bible. Okay, we consider that proof, but in terms of proving that, you can't prove that. In other words, not in the natural. But today, I'm going to discuss the underground world as it relates to Armageddon, and most of which I'm going to say, I'll tell you right up front, I can't prove it, but I believe it to be true, and I think you will also accept it to be true. It's going to start with this. Dr. Winston Wu, and that's a whole long story, which I'll have to skip because of time. This is part of the story. He said the meeting began. There were about 20. Now, this guy here actually sent this to me, and he actually experienced this. The meeting began. There were about 20 people in the room. I could tell there were a few other young students like myself. A presentation on the screen was shown discussing various Chinese technological developments. Some of them were incredible to me. He says, now remember, this is 2005. We were asked to read and sign some papers, and they were all about how we were to join the intelligence services. When you're in China, as he was, he says, you don't have a choice, or maybe I'll join and maybe I won't. No, you have to join. In fact, such a thing is an honor. So we read and signed all the papers without question. The meeting was over and we were asked to leave the room. My uncle did not look at me. I was then ushered away down a different hall from where I came in and got into an elevator. We went down, down, down many floors, exited into a room, and we were processed and given ID cards. Then we were moved into another room that opened to a large subway. Now, here's where it gets interesting. This subway was full of trains, not normal trains. They were sleeker, smaller. I was led into one. It was not like a subway or a train. We sat down, laid back a bit, and an automatic seatbelt swung around and tightly harnessed us into a comfortable, secure position. I noticed some advanced flat screens and other gizmos that seemed new to me. Then there were some other announcements. Everyone was settling in. The train began to move in a dark tunnel. It went so fast, so quick. It was not like high-speed trains above ground. These went fast, but nothing like this. He said, I felt like that we were reaching speeds over 1,000 miles an hour, perhaps even more. The trip took about 25 minutes, and then we stopped in a similar station as the one before. I departed with everyone else, and I was led into a much bigger atrium, wide and open with people in suits and some military attire bustling about. It was the main station, but not like the one I'd seen before. The person leading us took us to another elevator, and we descended. Did you catch that? Going down further. Descended. We ended up in a dormitory, and it was here where we were finally introduced to what we were about to be doing. I learned that I was going to be working as a specialist on a new type of computer, a quantum computer. But before I could, I would need to attend 1 year of education on how they work and another year of education on how to write software for them. Now, all of this is, how should we say, from people above ground. In other words, this is not part of Lucifer's team. Now, there's some things I can't say. Matter of fact, there's a lot of things I know I can't say. As you know, they've already deleted our channel once, and so I don't want to get deleted again. I mean, they threw away 5 years of sermons, 5 years of Prophecy Club programs, all of the Sevenfold Miracle Crusades, all of that. Threw it away. Just boom. Just one stroke of a keystroke is gone. I have no recourse, no redress of grievances. It's gone. So I don't want to have that happen again. So I've given you time to read what's on this particular page, and you need to read it. I suggest you do some research, and I would suggest you do some research here. You want to look up this guy's name here. Right there's this research. Then I'm going to send you to watchprophecyclub.com. There's some things we put in Prophecy Club years ago that would get me taken off again. Because in those days, we could pretty much say and do anything we wanted to say and do. It's just that in those days, we didn't have near the information that we have today, because in those days, it was a lot further from the last days than we are in the last days here. But anyway, I would encourage you to go to watchprophecyclub.com. You want to do a search for Norio Hayakawa and David Wegener. Search the word UFO. These, and I'm going to pause here, let you look at these. These are some of the DVDs you want to search out and watch. And I think you get the first 3 days free. So maybe it's even first 30 days. We go there because you can watch a whole lot of stuff and not even cost you anything. WatchProphecyClub.com. Now let's go on to my point today. Oh, I put this reminder in there because if I didn't, I wouldn't bring it up. Like I say, we're in a jam. And primarily it's over this Berkey thing. Because I wanted to get Berkeys to everybody. They told us, hey, we're having in a week or two. Well, it's been 4 weeks? Okay. And so our money's been tied up. I'm just to be honest with you, we're in a jam. We need some help, and we need it fast. So if God has blessed you, you can help us. We really need it. We're going to see checks bouncing if we don't. So I believe God will speak to your heart, and everything will be okay. Let's go on. Vicky Parnell, I'm only reading a part of it. Again, our topic today is tunnels. She says, there's a door in the floor, but it's not the kind of lock you would have expected to see there. It's totally digital. It's somehow electronic. The man with the glasses stoops down on his knees, punches in the code 34701. The two men had moved. The rug motioned to everyone back just a little as a slight whooshing sound is heard as the door opened. I noticed dim red lights inside. The man with the glasses enters the stairway, reaches his right hand, turns on a light. Suddenly the stairway is full of bright light. They go down the stairs. The man with the glasses motions to the others to follow. They do. The two men who moved the rug are waiting to be the last to enter, giving them time to dust the dirt off their tuxedos. They're inside a tunnel. Again, that's our topic today, tunnels. It's carved out of dirt with thick weathered wood beams bracing it on each side. They quickly descend the steps, all 15 of them. Not just 15 steps, 15 people, I think it is. It's like a silver, slender transportation system. The Bible says in the mouth of two or three witnesses let a thing be established. So when you got two people saying it looks like a bullet, it's slender, it's silver, it's underground, and it moves very, very fastly, right there's enough to believe it. But I've heard lots more than just two or three people. There's some very respected people. I remember one story was someone that was high up in a government in another nation, and he was scared to death. Scared to death to say anything. He said, I'm going to tell you. I want people to know about this. So he started talking about what he saw, and this is what he saw. There's a long silver bullet-shaped vehicle I see. It's like a silver, slender transportation system or vehicle, more advanced in all ways, from the controls to the seating, than what's above ground. The door opens, more like glides from side to side, and nor up and down. I'm seeing the silver vehicle that puts me in mind of a silver bullet take off with a group of 15 as I'm running at the lightning speed. No one speaks as they travel. I see no one driving. I understand. Then it doesn't need a driver because it's AI controlled or artificial intelligence controlled. The bullet-style vehicle never seemed to touch the ground, touch the ground. Okay, we're not talking about technology like you and I use. We're talking about technology that we have not received yet. Again, they keep holding things back, all right? The bullet-style vehicle never seemed to touch the ground, but rather glided above it. Vicky Parnell again, this is a different dream, January 8th, 2022, only part of it. I saw a general say to another general, we have to keep Ukraine out of the Russian control. The money and the gold are hidden in the vaults below ground. We can't let Putin get this money or gold, or he'll have enough gold for 3 wars. I'll skip. We know money and gold is stored there. We've been able to trace some of it to Hunter, which was never supposed to come out in the public. Another general said, so we're protecting Ukraine because of the money and the gold. It is more than just money and gold. It is information stored there, valuable information. There's information there, meaning bribery information or blackmail information. There's information there that if it gets out, it will topple governments around the world. That's how they rule people. We cannot let this information or gold get into the Russians' hands. But that's not all. Whoever controls Ukraine controls and will own a big supply of the world's uranium supply also. With it, Russia will become a nation that no other nation will be able to control. And here's the point. Then I was taken to a tunnel. That's our topic today. With massive troops and military equipment. This tunnel was located near the Ukraine border in the land called the Bear, or Russia. I want to show you something, he says, your government, NATO, or European government are not aware of. Putin is hiding equipment and soldiers underground. So when he attacks Ukraine and others will not be prepared. Putin is a crafty, sly fox who serves his master Satan well. Again, our topic is underground tunneling machines and what goes in them. Vicky Parnell again, 23. It began with me, I'm going to just skip around, okay? It began with me observing our world from space, outer space. Except the Earth looked more like a globe with all the lands identified and their countries' names labeled upon them. Suddenly, I watched as lights began covering the whole world, representing homes and cities, the lights of civilization across the world and the earth, and I'm going to skip. So I'm going to skip part of that. We're going to go into some other ones. Daughter of Heaven, this port can handle easier the massive equipment and military vehicles needed for the invasion. This is why this port was chosen. Putin will move to cut off the ports so no supplies can come easily into your country to aid your people. This, daughter of heaven, is all you can share of what I have shown you this day. Point is, underground tunnels. So do not forget, through access from Canada from the hidden underground tunnel labyrinth system, so they're admitting, or she was told, that there's an underground system, a labyrinth. In other words, like an anthill underground, all over, around the globe, so they say. So also occurred because although you sounded the warning, even calling by name the entry points, your country's military officials have been slacked in following up on this issue. Why? Because they don't believe God hears, or they don't believe people hear from God. They don't believe in prophets. They don't. So, they're all secular. So consequently, well, not many of them. So consequently, they don't listen to people like us. These underground tunnels run under your nation and world, around the world. And many Chinese soldiers are already in underground locations awaiting their orders to attack, to invade. Here's another, now this is from CNN, okay, secular source. Satellite images show increased activity at nuclear test sites in Russia, China, and U.S. And the article goes on to say it openly admits that they've been digging tunnels. Now, that's no secret. I mean, we've been in our cars. We've gone through tunnels. We know they make tunnels. But what you probably don't know is many of them are like, I think it's in the 8 to 10 kilometers depth, as in like really deep, and they go around the earth. They connect all kinds of things, even underground and underwater laboratories, so say the prophets. Let's go on. One is operated by China and the other Western world of Xi Jinping, I think it means to say. One by Russia on the Arctic Ocean, Archaeology, and another in the U.S. in the Nevada desert. The satellite images from the past 3 to 5 years show that new tunnels under mountains, new roads, storage facilities, as well as increased vehicle traffic coming in and out of the sites. There are really a lot of hints that we're seeing that suggest Russia and China and the United States might resume nuclear testing. Now, the point that we're getting at is tunnels. Now there's more. You remember this one. This is recent. I think this is very powerful. Chris Reed, October 8th. Dream opened with me looking at a map of the United States. I saw around 6 million illegal immigrants have crossed our southern border since Biden took office. I was shown that among these crossing, not all were bad, but I was also shown thousands of them are bad, actually trained terrorists from Middle East and China. The scene changed and I was given a cell phone. I was able to read the terrorist encrypted communications. I want you to notice encrypted communications. There's a coordinated plan to bring the terrorists to hijack the American government through destruction in America. Well, he uses a kind word, hijack, but what it really is, blackmail. That's what it is. It's blackmail, because that's what the devil does. He uses blackmail and bribery, okay? And like Benjamin Fulford was told, we rule this planet for thousands of years, and we'll destroy it rather than give it up. They will. I read something today. I wish I'd put that in the presentation, but it said they'll take down a whole plane to kill one person. They'll sink a ship to kill 10 people. They don't. It doesn't matter. More people they can kill, the better. Anyway, it goes on to say there's a coordinated plan to bring terrorists to blackmail the American government through destruction in America. And I read the words, so goes Israel, so goes America. So if America is smart, not only will we support Israel, but we'll see that things go well with Israel. Yes, I know, we've heard all kinds of things about the war in Israel. Most of them, and I'm not convinced, is really the truth. Matter of fact, Leslie, I just drive down the road today and say, we're so sick and tired of being lied to. It's hard to tell a lie from the truth these days. Like Benjamin Franklin said, if you don't watch the news, you're uninformed. But if you watch the news, you're misinformed. In other words, just a pack of lies. Can't get the truth. The news reported Israel was attacked through the southern border, meaning we're going to be attacked through our southern border. The same thing happened at the U.S. southern border. I saw jihad. By the way, do you know what jihad is? Do you know what jihad is? Okay, this is jihad. Jihad is the Muslims' method of recruiting people to be Muslims. Here's the way it works. They tie your hands behind your back. They tie your ankles together. They drop you to your knees, and they hold a big, long scimitar or a curved sword up over your neck. And they say, do you want to be a Muslim? And if you say no, you lose your head. That's jihad. In other words, you'll be a Muslim or we're going to kill you. That's jihad. That's their recruiting method. Oh, Stan, that sounds very harsh. Well, the devil is harsh, and that's the truth. I saw jihad resurge was a result of the vacuum left in Afghanistan from the U.S. pullout. I read on his cell phone that terrorists were coming from the Stan nations, the nations that ended up with stans such as Afghanistan, Pakistan, or Uzbekistan. They're working in coordination with the cartels at the southern border to get terrorists into the United States. You remember I told you, I've read the scripture several times that says, I will fill thee with men as with caterpillars. So this is the hand of God taking down a nation that has forgotten their God. The plan is the terrorists will locate the United States as directed from Central Command. They were given a communication device we know to be encrypted communications. I was given a cell phone. I could see 12 or more dormant terrorist cells on a map infiltrated through our southern border. They were fitted into the U.S. life in sanctuary cities. They were given contacts to like-minded terrorists and directed to connect with them upon their arrival. They were forming teams to accomplish destruction in communities. They were promised that if they would follow orders, their families would be rewarded financially, and they were promised rewards in the afterlife. In other words, these are not Christians, obviously. I saw 12 sleeper cells ready in the U.S. They were to lay dormant until orders were given. I saw some places where they were located. Hang on. You remember Dmitri was told the fall of America would start with an internal revolution in America started by the communists. I personally believe that started by the communists was when they stole the recent election. They put the bad guy in, and then the internal revolution is when the good guys go in and kick the bad guys out. Then the next phrase of the prophecy was some of the people will start fighting against the government. What you're reading is some of the people. It's not just Americans, but it's a whole slew of bad guys that they brought in through the southern border specifically to destroy our nation from within. Every empire in history has always been destroyed from within before it's conquered from without. I saw 12 sleeper cells already in the U.S. They were to lay dormant until orders were given. I saw some of the places where they were located. I saw Michigan, Minnesota, Arizona, Texas, the Carolinas, the Northeast, the New England area, New York, Boston, and Philadelphia. Here they are on a map. The plan is to use destruction inside America to control the actions of the U.S. government and to dictate our foreign policy or to blackmail our nation and our response to events in the world. They would control how America would function without a defense and a response to world events by blackmailing the U.S. government. It was this quote, "If you do this, in any particular situation, we will coordinate a response." Ultimately, the final one being the detonation of many explosives, I believe those are the suitcase nukes, many explosives if the government didn't comply with their wishes and demands were clear. Well, I believe at this point Trump is going to be in the office. And if he calls me and says, Stan, what do you think I ought to do? I'm going to say, don't fall to their blackmail. Nation's going to fall, but find every one of those bad guys and take them out. Do not bend, do not buckle, do not do what they want you to do. Either way, America's in trouble. So the demands on the government were this. Number one, America is not to use the U.S. military to attack or fight against Islamic terrorists, which is exactly what we should be doing. 2, continue to send funds to Iran and other terrorist states to support them in the name of foreign aid like Biden has been doing. Number 3, they had explicit pictures of U.S. politicians in every branch of government and threatened to release them if the U.S. crossed their red line. That's blackmail. In other words, they have these government officials go to parties and they get them in a room with some girl or some child, whatever compromising position they get them into, and they get pictures, maybe video, and then they own them. They own them for the rest of their life. Number 4, explosions, or I'm going to say suitcase nukes. Explosions were the last step, but before they could attack the infrastructure with technological distractions, blackouts, and other technological disruptions as a means of controlling the U.S., our response and our ability to defend and to go on the offset. They could also coordinate through this technology of communication, encrypted communication, and they could coordinate with mass shootings, mass knife attacks, or they would take hostages in the United States for ransom money. Finally, I saw detonations all across America, clouds, smoke, rubble destruction, same thing Dimitri talked about, same thing Dana Coverstone, several other people. So, today we're talking about tunnels. Tunnels is part of how they use to get around very quickly, and part of how they store all of their attacking vessels and munitions, and also their troops. So America is in a great deal of trouble. And speaking of that, Prophecy Club's in trouble. So if you could help us, now would be a really good time. We really need it. I don't want us to be in line begging for food. Instead, I want to be us in line giving out food. And so here's what I suggest you do. Go to Joseph's Kitchen. It's bread. I mean, I have bread for all of my breakfast and my lunch is a slice of bread. You want to go to Joseph's Kitchen. What you want to do is get this machine package right here. That's all of the gizmos you need to actually make the bread. Then the supplies are like this. Food for 1 person 1 year, 2 people a year, 4 people a year, 6 people a year. They're ready to ship it out right now. They've got all of this stuff. They're not out of anything. They can ship it to you. And there's videos, and there's also recipes to show you how to make all kinds of bread recipes. I think I would call bread famine food. In the days of Joseph and the pyramids, 7 years of plenty followed by 7 years of famine. And what was it that fed the world for 7 years? And the answer, wheat. Wheat. And that's what Joseph's Kitchen sells. Wheat. Wheat is, there's not a perfect food. In other words, one food where a person could eat nothing but this food their whole life, but probably wheat comes the closest. So recommend you go to Joseph's Kitchen, get yourself stocked up.
Introducing the Watch Prophecy Club app, now available for your Android and iOS devices. Watch Prophecy Club is your exclusive home for the last 30+ years of the best in Bible prophecy and end times information from the Prophecy Club. This app features over 100 speakers and 23 categories of Prophecy Club titles since the beginning. We are also excited to announce an integrated community feature where you can interact with other believers and Bible prophecy students. Choose either a monthly or annual subscription with a 3-day free trial. Cancel anytime.
So what is an EMP Shield device? It's a device you can put on your car and your house that in an EMP attack is supposed to stop the attack. And if you go to empshield.com and if you use the promo code prophecy, they give you a $50 discount. They also have videos up there, shows you how to install it on your car and your house and everything, and it's not difficult at all. I've got one of them right here. Red goes to red, black goes to black, green goes to the car, body of your car, and you just peel it off the back, stick it under there. Got another device that goes on your house. So, not complicated. Take you about 10 minutes to put them in. So, empshield.com, promo code is prophecy.